Okay, hello. Right, I'm going to turn it down a bit. Better. So, I've been asked to mark up a list. So I've been working for a client, an NHS client. I'm working for a consultancy at the moment, doing a bit of freelance work. Some Coldplay down a bit. Yeah, so I've created this. Why's that all faded? And that's what happened. So we've created this diagram. Now these areas, they want them as hotspots on the web page. Now there could be accessibility concerns there, so they decided they want some menu items there as well. So accessibility is a concern in this project, so obviously it's NHS. So I want to learn how to mark these navigation items up properly with accessibility in mind. I mean, let's be honest. I've done many websites over the years, and I've always just not really given accessibility a great deal of thought because if the client's been working for hadn't insisted on it. So probably an oversight on my part, but I thought I'd learn properly now anyway. I think it's a good opportunity to learn. Just take a slurp of coffee. So yeah, I thought I'd just go through the process. Show my thinking, and let's get this done properly. Right, so this is my web page. This is my code editor. So what I'm aiming for here is to get the main section of content there and a navigation item on the right hand side. So what I've done, I've created a section, class name of delivery. I've created a div there to contain this diagram, so let's call this class diagram. And I've created a navigation element here. So let's take this from the top. So how do you mark up navigation item, block item for starters? So what I've been looking into, I've looked quickly on Mozilla. So initially I was just going to mark that up as another div, but I thought no, let's use a nav. So it can't play off. Okay, section level headings. We need to look at the nav. Accessibility concerned, right. I'm on the wrong page. So I've Googled. Right, this is it. Right, this is from Mozilla. They're pretty much an oracle, if you will, of web design, HTML standards. Makes a Mozilla browser, Firefox browser even. Right, okay, so it says the navigation section element. The HTML nav element represents a section of a page whose purpose is to provide navigation links either within the current document or to other documents, so it's other documents in this case. Common examples of navigation sections are menus, tables of contents and indexes. So what I've got here on this, so it's a table of contents really, I'd say it's a menu to get to the underlying content within the page. So what does it say? Usage notes. It's not necessarily for all links to be contained in a nav. Nav is intended only for major block of navigation links, typically the footer and element. I don't need to be in a nav, okay. The document may have several nav elements. Right, this is relevant because the web page I'm putting this nav into will be a secondary on-site navigation. There's obviously a top-level navigation, main page navigation as well. Right, so what's this saying? Area labelled by can be used in such case to promote accessibility. Okay, so example. User agents such as screen readers, targeting disabled users can use this element to determine whether to omit the initial rendering of navigation only content. Right, okay, that's interesting. So this example, a nav block is used to contain. Where's the example? Let's have a look. Right, sections contain. Sectioning content can be labelled by using a combination of area labelled by and ID attributes, with the label concisely describing the purpose of the section. Right, this technique is useful for a situation where there is more than one sectioning element on the same page. What does that mean? I suppose it means header and a footer, navigation. Alright, so it means there's navigation within the header and there's navigation within the footer. Okay. Let's put an ID on there as well. Okay. In this example, screen reading technology would announce there are two nav sections, one called primary, one called footer nav, which is that value there, I guess. If labels are not provided, the person using the screen reader may have to investigate each nav element's contents to determine their purpose. Right, okay, so looks like we need this then. Let's copy that. We'll put that in there. So just to give you a bit of context, this page, I'm only developing kind of this content area, see where the red bounding box is. So this already exists in SharePoint, so this will already have a navigation menu or a nav element. So what we're doing here is implementing a secondary navigation just within this page. So I'm guessing we could call it something like delivery framework navigation, something like that. So if we go back to the Mozilla example, so we've got primary navigation there, footer navigation. So I think if I'm using a screen reader and I read it, what would be the most pertinent label to give it for someone who's visually impaired? So I suppose it's got to describe this, the links coming off this diagram. So delivery framework navigation might be a good title. Delivery framework navigation. Right, good. Let's just save that. Right. So just going off on a bit of a tangent, sometimes I have marked navigation bars just put like that. Like this. So I thought that was quite clean. You know, you don't have all these list items, ULs, LIs, A's, and it was a lot easier to style now. So I put like item 1, item 2, etc. Now I did read that that's not accessible, so I wanted to know why and apply it on the next project that I'm working on. So I just missed something off there. I missed an ID. Do I need an ID? Primary navigation? Looks like I do, but I don't want. So yeah, it looks like it needs a title, doesn't it? I've forgotten that. Right, okay. A common navigation technique for screen reading software is jumping from heading to heading quickly to determine the content of the page. That's interesting. Because of this, it's important to not skip one or more heading levels. Doing so may create confusion as the person navigation may be left wondering where the missing heading is. Right, okay. What have we got here? Not skip one or more level headings. Right, so I've got H1, right, C. I didn't know Headings may be nested as subsections to reflect the organisation of the content of the page. Most screen readers can also generate ordered lists. Another common navigation is for screen readers to generate a list of section and content and use it to determine the page's layout. Okay. Sectioning content can be labelled using a combination of that and ID attributes. So if we don't label, this technique is useful for situations where there's more than one sectioning element on the same page. Right, I suppose you can actually hide this. So I don't want this to show on my design there, but right, so we're going to have a H1 in there. Delivery framework. This is related to both these pieces of content. So we should really have something like diagram as a H2, like here. This is the section and content, so we want a diagram there. I guess. I've got diagram. Diagram. So this is the first section in part of this content. Delivery framework diagram, we'll call that. Delivery framework diagram. So that's for that. Do I need to label? What's it saying there? I don't need to label it. What's it mean by sectioning element? What the fuck? What is section? No, let's read this. It is important to understand that many HTML5 sectioning elements by default define area landmarks in 5 HTML5 sections. If HTML5 section elements are used without understanding the associated landmark structure, assistive technology users will most likely be confused and less efficient accessing content and interacting with web pages. Right, so a sectioning element is these things like main, nav, aside, nav, section. Right, okay, so that's a sectioning element. What's that mean? Area landmarked. Article, aside, main, nav, section. That's that section content. Right, so this is general accessibility, not just to a nav, I think. So section content can be labelled using a combination of labeled by and ID attributes with the label concisely describing the purpose of the section. This technique is useful in situations where there is more than one section element on the same page. Right. Pardon me. So that's a section element. I don't suppose this div is then, is it? Or maybe if we called this main, perhaps. Maybe this would be better as a main. A main and a nav, that's better. What do I should I just use that as a div or a section? One to use section and main. How to use the HTML section elements. A quick read of this. Cookies. Right, maybe email responsibility to your web pages like computer programs, but understand your content. Okay, in this post, you know, use the section elements and displayed. When you should use certain elements or others as well as bindings to the div. Right, okay, this should be good. The main element should contain the main content of your page. All this content should be unique to this individual page and should not appear elsewhere on the site. Any content that should appear on multiple pages should not be placed within the main. Right, okay. Just got a message on LinkedIn on my phone. Congrats on the new job. Are you still watching Blackburn with Alex Hall? Anyway, I digress. Right, repeated content not placed within the main. Right, the example below uses main element to represent the main content of the page. Role main. So now he's got an article. And he's got a header. Right, here we go. Notice we use the area role main attribute here as it indicates the significance of this element to programs that don't yet support the main element, such as some screen readers. Okay. You should only use one main element on the page and it shouldn't be placed within an article. Right, okay, so let's use the main. I don't even know what does this stand for. Area. Ain't that? Accessible, rich, instant applications. Right, okay. So with this in mind, so let's change this to a main. Let's put the size up a bit. Right, I'm going to call this main. Give it a role of main for devices that don't yet support main. Is that right? Role main. Yeah, okay. Indicates significance of this element to programs that don't yet support main elements, such as some screen readers. Right, okay. So we can still give this a class, can't we? So that now needs to become the class section. How to auto close, that's annoying. You see there, when I change this to a section, I want it to auto change the closing element. So I'm using brackets there, brackets, auto change closing element, upon edit. Let's see what it comes back with. This guy's a questionnaire one. Is there a way to plug in? This one I'm looking for a plug-in. So right now I want to switch my div to a spell. I'm going to change the element closing spell. I'm using brackets. It should do that. Trying to see on edit. Any auto close option is shaved. Shaved. It does auto close when it's auto change. Yeah. Emmet. Right, I've got that. Doesn't do that, so I'm not sure if there's anything else. Bugger. Let's just see this. Edit. Auto close. Auto fix. Yes, what that do? Right. Div. No. If there's anything on here. Beautify and save. What about auto edit? Auto edit closing tag. Auto edit close tags. Yeah, bollocks. Oh well, let's not go down that rabbit hole at the moment. Right, it's back to this. Let's change that back to nav. That can be. So you know, Visual Studio does this auto close. In this place I worked, you could auto close. It's quite handy. Now let's tidy this up. Go on beautify. It's not very beautiful. Right, so I'm happy with that now. Main section nav. So this now wants accessible doing how it's in. This needs an ID of I'm guessing that's alright to do. Navigation. So we don't want these to show though. So we need some sort of class to hide that for screen readers. Let's get the what's the code for the home page I've done. Delivery. Should it be a bit more descriptive? Delivery framework, yeah. Probably like 2 people will watch this on YouTube, I bet. Just downloaded OBS, so I'm recording for 26 minutes. Good fun nonetheless. Right, so is this accessible now? Is there anything else I need? What's this one looks like? What's small? What's going on there? Fuck. Bring this in over here. Bring this in. Shrink brackets down a bit. What's going on then? That's better. What's this item? Bollocks. Oh yeah, it's my demo. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Now, is there anything else I need to put on here to make this accessible? So I've got these sectioning elements identified, so I'm happy with this. So let's just go back to this article. Right, so you can only use one main, so we're alright with that. The article should contain a piece of self-contained content that can be distributed outside the context of the page. Things like news articles, blog posts, comments. Right, so we don't want to use article. Section is used to represent a group of related content. This is similar to article. The main difference being that the content within section that doesn't necessarily need to make sense out of the content of the page. Okay. It is advisable to use a heading element to define the topic of the section. Using this blog post example, you could have section elements to represent each individual parts of the post. Alright, okay. You use articles. Right, so you can use section more than once apparently. The main element. Right, okay. I didn't know that. You can have section elements. So the content within a section doesn't necessarily have to make sense out of the context of the page. Right, so we can use section, I think. Here we've used articles to represent the poster whole and then multiple section elements to represent the subtopics. Right, so you can use that multiple times. Use article when it has to be, can be used elsewhere. If you need to use group content for styling purposes, you should use a div rather than a section. So section just for content. Right, got it. Nav element is used to mark up a collection of links to external pages or sections. Right, that's what we need. As well as being used by the main website, and the nav is good for things like table of contents. So it's kind of a table of contents that we're using. Marking up your links in a list will often make your navigation easier to use. However, this is not a requirement using the nav. Right, that's interesting. Aside. Don't need that. Header, don't need that. Yes, don't need that. Final thoughts and sectioning. The benefits, one of the biggest biggest advantages is it gives your page a more semantic meaning and allowing computer programs to identify the key elements like the main content of the page. And this is extremely useful for applications like screen readers, right? All screen readers have what they meant that you may wish to continue to use ARIA roles just to be safe. Okay, so do I need to put one of these roles on for the navigation? Presume I do. So I've got one there, haven't I? Let's put role nav. Cool. Right, I think we're alright with that now. So let's markup accessible navigation. It's W3C, so probably on it. Semantic market goes in list. Okay. Unordered list when the menu items are not in a specific order, and that's us. Right. So that's how I've done it. I've wrapped it in a nav. Identify menus. Identify the menu ideally using the nav. Alright, okay, done that. Element allows users access to menu data and the techniques to mark up a nav. Okay. Label menus. Label menus. To make them easier to find and understand. Labels should be short but descriptive. Allow users to distinguish between multiple menus on the page using ARIA label or ARIA label by. Right, I've done that. Yeah, so I've done ARIA labeled by delivery framework nav. Menu or navigation. So yeah, they've done that below. Class visually hidden, and that's what we want. Use markup to indicate the current markups. Let's put this in first then. Let's get these classes in. Copy it. Let's call it screen reader. Or is it visibility hidden? It'll work. Oh, hang on. No. Right, yeah, okay. How to hide text. We need to find this out then. How to hide text. Screen reader. Invisible content just for screen readers, okay. Occasionally instructions where content should be made available to screen reader users but hidden from sighted users, that's what we want. several mechanisms that can use finding content. It's important that the technique be implemented that results in the desired income of these styles. And alright, that's what I've done. These styles will highlight text more users. The text is removed from the visual flow, yeah, that's what we want displayed. None does that. And is ignored by screen. Do not use the CSS if you want the content to be read. What? By a screen, but do use it if content you don't want read by a screen. What? Do not use this CSS if you want the content to be read by a screen reader. We do want it to be read by a screen reader, but do use it for content you don't want read by screen readers. Fuck. Contradicts itself. Outside text vision. Stupid. Read this. When a page contains icon-only page elements, a good approach to provide a text alternative for screen readers. This text should be visually hidden but not appear on the page. Seems that right, okay. Hide text, books, let's try WordPress, now I know this shit. Okay. But extended to the JavaScript parts, but extended used screen reader text. CSS below will hide elements visually by default, but keep them available to screen readers. That's what we want then. CSS elements that are only visible on keyboard focus. Set width to. Okay. What do you want to completely hide it? Well, that's not going to work, it's text. There doesn't appear to be a definitive answer on this. No answer. I think, is this Jacob Nielsen guy? He's the. I think this guy is. He's like the godfather of accessibility. And there's no. Let's go back to the article anyway. Hiding elements made up for other reasons for different groups. Hide elements from screen readers, side use. Right, importance of hiding elements. So if you're to selfish only you display on title, did you mean to hide it from everyone? Screen readers generally ignore everything they're displaying on. Therefore, it's not read out to screen readers. Right, okay. There are various ways of having things hidden visually, so I'll run through the cases. Right, let's go. Hiding elements from everyone. We're making that everything is visual. Some reports of very old screen readers ignoring this technique, but it's currently the safest and easiest one. Okay. Alternative is used the HTML attribute hidden since the support for this is good in recent browser screen readers. If you frequently surf the web, you'll notice. Text search bar on the website. User may not grasp the purpose of this function, so if you want to keep the same visual design, you can use a label to associate. All these various techniques. Don't need to worry about A6 and A7. Where's the summary? Do you know what? I'll just leave it displaying on and I'll test it. If that says it's good enough. I think you've got to be pragmatic with this. I think if someone is relying on a screen reader, they're going to be using the latest, greatest software which will support this. I think if it's that important to them, which it will be, I very much doubt they'll be using some crappy old piece of software. So right, let's go with that. I'm happy with that now. Oops. Save. Let's go back to our original. Using visible text is read out aloud. Right, okay. Screen reader. Text. Screen reader only. That's a better name. Sorry, it's easier to type in screen reader. Approach 1 using invisible text. Current page indicate the current page. Now we're not going to be using this current page then because it's not a proper navigation menu, it's more of a table of contents that you click through. Use no other list when the menus are not in most menus, such as what's this category? Supposed to use an ordered list, okay. Identify the menus, so I've done that. Label menus to make them easy to find and understand. Labels should be short but descriptive. Right, I've done that. Use markup to indicate the current item of the menu, such as current web pages to improve orientation in the menu. Right, we're not orientating to the menu because it's an in-page menu. So by the looks of it, I've done everything I should. So how would you test this? To simulate a screen reader. This simulates experience what it's like using a screen reader website and users. So keyboard shortcuts are provided. When you enter the simulation, you'll see a screen. Shockwave. Okay. How to test web page. Screen reader program will read aloud content to a web page and you navigate without seeing the screen. Basically how blind and low vision visitors use the website. You can use keyboard shortcuts to activate links and jump around site content. Here's a video demonstration. Let's browse, let's have a quick look.
Tomorrow's workforce. List with 4 items visited link passport to success. Passport to success next generation zone. Visited link skip to main content. Visited link home pass out of list heading level 1 passport to success. Your passport to career success will take you start here. Passport worksheet next generation zone. Visited link skip to main. Visited link home passport worksheet out of heading blank. List with 3 items explore careers and create a plan checkbox checked. Explore careers visited link. Learn how to compete in tomorrow and number 30 not checked. Checked. Create a plan visited link. Forms next generation zone. Visited link skip to main content. Visited link home log out visited link. Heading level 1 your passport to link download PDF form. Graphic next generation zone. Graphic steps to career success 1. Heading level 6 your passport to career success. Heading level 2 career plan. Student name edit test student. School address edit. 1. 3. Space. L. N. Address to edit. Blank. Profile.
Right, I'm hoping that OBS has picked up that recording. Basically what I was doing was, it was reading out the tab index, sorry, the labels, what they all mean, these fields. Right, so while you use screen, you could use tools like scan your site point and read flags, but testing the screen in front of us without actually using the screen is test. It's like testing mobile phone without using the mobile yet. Okay, download and install it. It's free. It works pretty well now. Its usage is growing. Great for beginners who want site. Visually fire up and if you're using Windows, I recommend using. Right, let's download this. Let's hope it's for. Sorry, I'm just testing. Does it work on a Mac? That's an exe. What's this? Web aim. Screen reader program comes on the Macs. Ah. Right, cool. Voiceover. Nice, what's this? Voiceover utility. You can start by pressing Command 5 on your laptop. I need to press. Okay, that's a lot to take in, that. Command and 5. Command and 5. How do you use it then? You can start or stop VoiceOver, and if you're on a laptop, you'll likely need to press the additional function key. Only functions with Safari and Opera. Yeah, okay. Okay. Don't know why that's so small. Let's see if that's in there. Right. Into front. You must enable full keyboard access. Set preferences. Right. Preferences, advanced accessibility. Press tab time. Okay. Not doing anything. Command 5. Not working. Additional press function key. I've got one on a laptop. Oh, F5.
Welcome to Voiceover.
Hey!
Voiceover speaks descriptions of items on the screen and can be used to control the computer using only your keyboard. If you already know how to use Voiceover, press the V key now. If you want to learn how to use Voiceover, press the spacebar now.
Spacebar then.
The VoiceOver Quick Start. In this quick start, you'll learn VoiceOver basics, as well as important VoiceOver commands to help you navigate on your Mac and use apps. You can exit the quick start at any time and finish it later. To advance through the quick start panels now, use the arrow keys located to the right of the main keyboard keys. On a portable computer, they are located in the bottom right corner of the keyboard. The up arrow and down arrow keys are positioned one above the other, with the left arrow and right arrow keys on either side. Now continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. To exit at any, practice what you learn. Many quick start panels include an area where you can use VoiceOver to practice the commands you just learned about on the panel. The quick start plays a sound to indicate when practice begins and ends. When VoiceOver starts and is ready for practice, you will hear the following sound. When VoiceOver stops, you will hear the following sound. Now continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key, the VoiceOver modifier. You enter VoiceOver commands by pressing the VoiceOver modifier and one or more other keys. You can set the VoiceOver modifier to be the caps lock keyboard. The VoiceOver.
I don't have time to do this. I'll do it later. Just add this to my to-do list. Learn VoiceOver. Got to get this page done by today, so I'll do it later. Let's just kill this off. So I did know, I've heard of this thing called Jaws. Use Jaws to access. Right, yeah. Important to evaluate accessibility with the screen reader, but screen readers can be very complicated programs for the occasional use, so many people avoid them, which have just done. This needn't be the case. It is possible for a Scotland to use Jaws. What's Jaws? You should probably begin by reading instructions to access. If you need screen readers on spending more time on this page, an example page, don't get discouraged. Learn Jaws. Right, I'm going to have to end this now. I think I need to get cracking. Put this out. If you're really bored, you can stick around and watch me construct this page if you want. I'll leave this on. Where was I? I might just get this diagram on there first. This is going to have clickable hotspots. Let's get the whole thing on. It's looking. So I need this whole thing. Oh, is it Alt drag? That's it, yeah. this asset export's pretty cool. Pretty cool option in Illustrator. So let's just call this diagram. Export that. I'm just going to diagram. There we go. So I think these are all marked up correctly from accessibility concerns. What did I call this nav? Don't need a class, do we? Let's call this nav. So I'm going from there, I'm targeting the nav. Okay. Remove the styles. Taking the line off. That. VUL. Yeah. So I don't think there's any. Any. Yeah. Now we've got a nice clean start there. Is it text decoration? No, is it? Yeah. Is it on the A? I think it's on the anchor, yeah. It's on the anchor. Text decoration none. Cool. Let's get the colour. Which I've got from the SAS variable. Just dark grey. Let's try. Cool. Background. We've got a light grey. No, we haven't. I'm just in a create a symbol out of this. We call it sample colour. That illustrator is just not easy sometimes, just to find out colours. Fireworks is dead easy. There we go, F3. Padding. WTF? What the fuck? Because this is some weird zoom. What the hell? That's all right. What have I done? That's why. That's so small. Set that so I could use rem sizing, but I'm not in control of the main HTML element, so I can't. I suppose I need to give this a size then, don't we? Let's give it 16 for now. Come on. Why is it not playing ball? Doesn't look like 16 to me. Okay. I want to make these block level, so don't want them in line. I don't. Also want, I suppose I want that to be a block as well. Better. More. Together, padding. Just put 12 in, see what it looks like. But I think there was a board, right? Wasn't there? Yeah. Let's just use a size darken function just to take this up a bit rather than put. Cool, a bit of border radius. This is really well supported these days, so I don't need to worry about vendor specific prefixes, I don't think. Make a bit more sense. Right. That's pretty much like mobile view, isn't it? So next, I need to get this by the side on a big page. Just So to get this looking like this, so we need 2 columns. We need a big main column there for the nav. So for the main content, main section, and one for the nav. So what have we got? Got nav. Close this off, makes it easy to read. So we've got section and nav sitting within delivery framework. So I can make this a flex container. Let's display let's make that display flex. Okay. What's it moaning about? What's it done? Why the hell did that disappear? The flex item. Anyway. So we need the nav. We also need the right, so I haven't got this section. Let's call it diagram. Diagram. Flex basis of, let's give it 70-30. 70%. Let's give the nav 30. See how that goes. There you go. Right, we don't want them side by side, do we? So let's give this. Let's not make the number 60, so let's make this. Don't think I need that as big. So let's call this 20. 2070. If you watch this, yeah. So I'll now tell them what I'm going to tell it now is I want you aligned to the left and I want you aligned to the right. And to do that, you apply justify content space between on the parent element. If you watch this, there you go. How easy is that? What better than using floats? Bring them in. Hopefully this will be responsive. Yeah. So that's not exactly as we want it. There. And the gaps are a bit bigger, aren't they? There's a bit more padding there, so let's just do that now and we're done. Let's add a bit more padding to the left. Left and right. So top bottom, so it's 24. 24. Margin bigger. 12. Is that too much? Yeah. 20. 30. Looks good. I think we want a bit of a hover state on there as well. So transition. Transition 1 second. And on. And hover. Just do that just to start with, make sure it works. Here's the transition that worked. So I've put transform. Cool. Maybe we should use the NHS blue of the transition, that might be good. Oops. Just blue, let's have the colour of the font going white. Bit too slow that. Make it a bit snappier. 0.3. Let's do the border actually as well. Cool. There we go. Done. Actually, when do we want this menu to come in? So we only want it to be a flex item at about 600. So I've got some breakpoints. Oops. Include. So 600. So I've got one there, say small, medium, and large are set up. So I just forget what I've called them. Small, medium, large is quite easy to remember, so I don't know why I keep forgetting. But hey ho. Small. In fact, we only want it to become a flex container when the min width is 600 and above, which is what this should do. So by default, it's just a normal regular display block, and anything below 600. There we go. So there. As we get to 600, you can see the menu's going down the side. I think it's still easily enough to read that. We should use medium one. Yeah. Yeah. I think the text is a bit too small to read. So these are really here just to make this diagram a bit more kind of accessible, usable. Because when these are going to be kind of hotspots that we click on to go to these sections. So this is like an additional set of menus that map onto the hotspots there. So when you click on that, it'll essentially do the same thing as clicking that. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. I might do this again, it's quite good fun. See you later.